Hi. Well, I promised you that I would make a recording for our upper back and neck. And so many of you are complaining about that tightness now that you are having babies. So, for postnatal folks, once you have a young child, there's so much curling forward, bending forward, just feeding a baby, carrying, holding a baby, putting a car seat in the car, putting baby down, lifting, holding. So, very often, when you might have had complaints of other parts of your body in pregnancy, like carpal tunnel or low back pain, hip pain, now suddenly there's this really new tension in the neck and the upper back. So, this is going to be about a 20-minute stretch introduction to some postures, and I'm using YouTube Live so that I can just easily upload the video. However, that might mean that there are going to be some folks watching or commenting, and I'm just going to let you know that I don't have my glasses on, so I won't be able to respond to comments. So let's get started. So what you'll need for class, I have a yoga mat. If you'd like to sit on something, just to have some lift under your seat, you're welcome to use a blanket. I have a block. You can use a block. If you have a block handy, you can also have a book, a big book. And also for later, we'll do this delicious stretch that gets into the upper back, the thoracic spine. So if you have a towel, you can have a towel handy. So when you're watching this recording, feel free to pause, go get your things. Also, if you want to have a water bottle, to have water handy, you're welcome to have that as well. All right, so we'll start by sitting on your mat, just in a nice tall seat. Bring your spine straight. Pay attention to the crown of your head. Hands can rest on your knees and sit up nice and tall so you have a straight spine. Reaching the crown of the head up toward the ceiling, toward the sky, toward the above, as your sit bones root and feel grounded into your mat or the floor. You can let the eyes get soft. Perhaps they close. Just take a few deep breaths. When you breathe, notice if you're feeling kind of shallow breath. And if you are feeling shallow breath, one nice way to get deeper into the breath is to take 2 inhales and then exhale through the mouth. That instantly resets the breath. You can do it one more time. Really nice. And then just settle. Hands can rest on the knees. Taking some soft, gentle breaths. Allowing any tension or tightness in the body to leave with the exhale. You can scan the body when you do this and notice if there are any thoughts coming in, any tightness in the body, the spine. And just breathe in and allow presence to come in with the breath. And on the exhale, anything that's not this present moment, let that pass. So practice that. Anything that has already happened today or happened this week that might still be on your mind, just see if you can breathe in and on the exhale, let that pass. Coming into stillness. Checking in with the body, noticing if there's any tightness that you're aware of, and if there is, just allowing that to be. But maybe imagining pulling the breath into that space. And on the exhale, allowing some of that tension to pass, to leave the body. Now let's gently let the chin drop to the chest. So staying straight, keeping the spine straight, that's key. Letting the chin drop, because I know as a parent to a young child or baby, there's a lot of this, right? We talked about that. But if your spine is straight and you're letting the chin drop, this is allowing the back of the neck to lengthen. Now slowly tilt your right ear to your right shoulder. So the left side of the neck lengthening, getting long, loosening. Exhale. Your breath, let the throat open so the head rolls back in case. Just check in with the neck. Make sure you don't have any injuries. If your head lets you, if your body lets you, let the head roll back. Do that. And then slowly tilt left ear to left shoulder. So right side of the neck lengthening. Should feel really delicious. And then slowly bring chin back to chest and circle. Let the head circle a few times in this direction. Just slowly. You might hear some sounds in your neck, little creaks and cracks. Keep breathing. Keep the spine long. And then the next time your chin comes to chest, reverse direction. So circling in the opposite direction. Notice how it feels. Hopefully it feels really nice for your neck. The neck is the very top of your spine, the cervical spine. So that is the most sensitive and tender part of your spine. It's the most susceptible to injury. So just go slowly, go gently, go one more time around. Complete that circle. And the next time your chin comes to chest, go ahead and lift the head up. So we got into the neck, the top of our spine, taking really good and gentle care with our neck. Let's go ahead again and let the right ear tilt to the right shoulder. As that left side of the neck opens, take your arm long and tent your fingers. I'm going to make sure you can see here. So you'll tent your fingers. They're on the floor, just like so. Arm is extended, right ear is still tilting toward the right shoulder, and you can take your right hand and gently, lightly place it on top of your head. So you're inviting your head, the weight of your head, the gentle weight of your hand to open up that left side of the neck. You should really feel some sensation in the neck. And while you're here, take your head and tilt your head to the right. So you'll twist your head, not tilt. You're already tilted. You'll turn your gaze to your right armpit. This opens up the back of the neck. And now, staying here, flex your left hand. So left fingers come tilting up toward the ceiling. So you should feel a lot of action in the shoulder, in the upper back, and the neck. Or maybe it's subtle. But hopefully, again, still feeling really good. Now, take your left hand and start to raise your arm. If you have tightness in here, you'll really start to feel that. And you can play with this. You can raise your arm up or down or bring your arm back. See what feels best. Take a breath in. On your exhale, release. Release everything. So left side of the neck's going to feel really tender. It was a big stretch. Let's do the other side. So we'll tilt left ear to left shoulder, letting the right side of the neck get long, feeling the weight of the head, and take your right arm, extend your fingertips down, tent your fingers. So right arm is active, just feeling the energy, the sensation in your arm as you take your left hand and gently place it on top of your head. So we're opening up the right side of the neck and getting into the shoulder, very top of the trapezoids, into the upper back. And now you'll take your head and twist it to the left. So you'll gaze at your left armpit, feeling the back of the neck opening. And then take your right hand and flex the right hand. So fingertips rise up toward the ceiling. And with your right arm, you can play with the rising or the lowering of the height, or bring it maybe back behind you. So see what feels, dial it in. That's something I like to say. Dial in the degree of sensation you're going for. Once you feel like you're at your sweet spot, breathe. Coming back to the breath. Breathe into that stretch. Take an inhale here. Exhale, release. Okay, so let's do just a couple neck circles again, just to get into that neck. We did a big, deep stretch, circling the head a few times and then reverse, circling the opposite direction. Keep breathing. Let's do one more complete circle. And then we'll come back to center. Now, just to get our spine a little warmed up, let's do our Sufi circle. So hands come down on top of your knees. On the inhale, you'll bring your chest forward. On the exhale, you'll round the back, scoop the belly. So we're circling in one direction. You can imagine that your spine is like a rubber spatula. You're going around the inside of a bowl, or you can imagine that you are going around and around the sides of a beautiful singing bowl. So whatever visualization works for you, let's reverse direction. So we're just getting some nice movement in the spine, the neck, the shoulders, the middle back, and the low back. So lots of complaints about that upper back and mid back being so tight. So let's get into some nice stretches for the upper and middle back. We'll start by getting ready to come into child's pose. So coming into child's pose, you'll get onto your mat and bring your knees as wide as the mat. So you'll bring your knees to the edges of your mat, bring your big toes to touch, and we'll push back, bringing your sit bones back onto your heels. From here, let's inhale our arms up to the ceiling. On the exhale, walk your hands forward. So coming forward, walk. Bring your forehead down to the mat. Hopefully your forehead can get down to the mat, keeping your sit bones on your heels. So you're walking forward. And take a few breaths here. And stay like that. Just feel this decompression in the low back as you take a few breaths in your child's pose. Often a resting pose. This can also be such a great stretch while you're down with your baby on the floor having their tummy time. You can just be playing with them, admiring them in your child's pose as well. But now on your next inhale, let's try something else. Use your hands to walk yourself up, coming back to sit on your heels. We're going to come into a child's pose with thread the needle arms. So let me show you what that's going to look like. So inhale your arms up to the ceiling. On the exhale, let's bring the arms forward. But this time we're going to thread our needle. I'm trying to think which side I want to go on first. I think the left. So take your left arm out to the side. On the exhale, left arm comes behind the right. Your left ear comes down to the mat as you walk those right fingertips out in front. So we're in child's pose, but with thread the needle arms. So we're in wide-legged child's pose. Really stay here and feel the compression in that left shoulder. So that's what's happening. We're twisting the body. The left shoulder is getting some compression. It's also getting some invitation to open, to get some twist. If you would like a little more twist, you can take that right arm up to the ceiling. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, bend the right elbow and slide the back of the hand along the waist, tucking your fingers into that hip crease. So you're getting a light bind. Let's see if I can show you from the side. So you're in your thread the needle arms, right arm sliding back. So you're coming into a light bind and breathing here. Inhale, if you're in that light bind, inhale that right arm back up. Exhale, bring the palm back to your face. If the fingertips are out in front, walk the fingers back as you press through that right palm. Unthread your needle. And we'll do the other side. So we're here in child's pose. This time, you'll press through your left palm as you inhale that right arm out to the side. Exhale, bend the right arm, bring it behind the left. Left elbow bends and right ear comes down to the mat. Child's pose, threading the needle. Left fingertips, you might walk that arm out in front, long and lengthening, getting into the armpit, compressing gently the right shoulder. Or you might like to inhale the left arm up to the ceiling. Exhale, bend the elbow and slide the back of the hand along the waist, tucking your fingers into your hip crease. So find your perfect place today and get into that deep stretch, getting some movement and some space between the shoulder blades. A few more breaths. Okay. So if you're in a bind, go ahead and inhale your left arm back up to the ceiling. Exhale, bend it as you press through. Unthread that needle and come into a tabletop position. So that's on your hands and your knees. Hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. And what I'd like you to do is keep your hips directly over the knees as you walk your arms forward into melting heart. So melting heart posture, your forehead is down on the floor, hips are right over the knees. We're getting a big opener. So stay in that posture and let me talk to you about what hopefully you're feeling and the benefits. There's this softening of the heart, the opening of the chest as you let yourself sink down with your hips right over the knees, supporting you, letting yourself stay
upright in the legs, but as you're able to rest and relax,
there's a big opener in the armpits and the shoulders, and in that space between the shoulder blades. So this is part of that thoracic spine. And it's hard to get into, so it can get really tight. This is that part where there's so much of our lives where we curl over, whether we're on the computer or we're driving or we're holding babies or we're aging. There's this curling in. So we're kind of opening up that space between the shoulder blades. So stay here for a few more breaths. Then we'll go into one last beautiful stretch for that space behind us. And then we'll end with our towel, because I think you're going to love that part. Okay. Okay. So change on your next inhale. Use your hands and push yourself back up into tabletop, but then come lying down onto your belly. So this is a great one for postnatal and not one that we do in prenatal, right? Because you're on your belly. Once you're on your belly, you want to have your elbows immediately directly under your shoulders. And a lot of times when people do this, when students do this, what I see is elbows a little bit out. And that isn't going to work for this posture. You want your elbows really in under your shoulders, even if they're in a little closer than your shoulders. That's better than out. Then another thing that I see often is elbows forward. So I'm going to ask you to take a look. Make sure your elbows are right under your shoulders. And you're making a 45-degree angle with your humerus bone and your forearm. So once your palms are down, legs are behind you, straight behind you, and relaxed, glutes are released, you'll inhale, gripping the floor or the mat, lifting the chin, looking up. Now on your exhale, sink the chest down. Just sink the chest down and let the head hang. Once you're here, don't do anything else. Just let the head hang. That's key. I'll tell you why. So when you sink down, if your head is touching the floor, that means your elbows are out too much. So if you're down here like this, it's not going to be comfortable. So get those elbows in. Let the head hang. And scan the body. See if you can release the glutes. A lot of times people clench their butt and their low back. Release the glutes. Release the low back. Hang the head. If you're able to stay like this with your breath, you're going to start feeling the space between your shoulder blades. That's getting the lateral loosening at the same time that you're getting the vertical lengthening in the spine. So this is really a sweet, sweet stretch for new parents, parents of new babies. But you've got to stay in the stillness and allow this stretch to happen. The weight of the head hanging is getting into that space between the shoulder blades. So don't look up even though I'm talking. If this is really painful on the neck, or if you're feeling like your head is too heavy, stack your fists. You can bring your fists together and rest your forehead, maybe on both fists, maybe on one.
But if you're able to let the head hang,
go for it, because you'll get the maximum benefit of this posture. It's really, really nice.
Again, checking in with the low back. Okay, let's change. On your inhale, go ahead and raise the head up.
Take your elbows out to the side, stack your palms, and rest your forehead down onto your palms. So you'll rest your forehead down onto your palms and just rock the hips side to side. That's going to unlock the low back.
Unlocking the low back that might be feeling a little tension from that stretch. So just pausing here for a moment.
And then on your next inhale, use your hands to push yourself up. And let's come back into that wide-legged child's pose to decompress the low back. Knees come wide, big toes touch. Pushing back, walk the arms out.
Bring the forehead down. If you're here and you'd like to bring your hands into a mudra, you can come into Anjali Mudra, palms pressing together. Taking a few breaths here, or lowering the hands down.
And staying low, let's get into the side body a little bit before we come into our final delicious stretch. So walk the hands over to the right.
Staying low, you'll bring the torso over the right thigh.
If you'd like, I feel this immediately in the obliques, the side body. If you want to take your left hand,
cross it over the right.
A little deeper stretch here.
Feels so good. Take a breath in.
And on the exhale, staying low, walk the hands back to center and then over to the left. So bringing your torso over that left thigh, releasing and relaxing, feeling the opening in the right side of the body. My pants, I'm losing my pants. So just feeling that nice stretch. Take your right arm and drape it over the left wrist.
What a gift to take a little bit of time out of your busy, busy day
and stretch your body. Now we're in for a treat. Okay, this is your reward. Inhale, come back to center. Use your hands to push yourself up. And now we're going to use that towel. So here is a beautiful way to, again, get into that upper back, that space that's so hard to open up. Two different ways to get into this posture. You can take your towel and put it right under the armpits. And as you lie down, slow, let your body get heavy, legs come long, arms open in a T, gaze can be up at the ceiling. This should feel really nice. So it's not under the low back. You're not forcing a lumbar curve. You're actually forcing a little bit of push, a little bit of bump under the rib cage and at the back of the heart. So this is one beautiful posture, and if you're able to just release and relax, this is kind of a shavasana opening up of the upper back. When I do this in postnatal, usually the mamas don't want to come out of this, so I should do it for shavasana. And another way, if that's not feeling perfect, I'm going to roll this a little tighter. Another way to get into this is to have your towel or your bolster. In our yoga, we have small bolsters that are perfect for this.
And place it along your back, but not on the lumbar spine because that's going to be uncomfortable. So place it right above the lumbar spine. So it's kind of, you can get your hand under here. Your head might even rest on the bolster or the towel. And I actually think this towel's a little too flat for the maximum effect because you want a little bit of lift. So if you have a thicker towel, like a beach towel, that would work perfectly. And you just place it right at the mid back, not in the low back. And as you lie on it, it invites your chest to open. And I'm going to leave you here in this position so that you can enjoy your time. And I hope that you enjoyed your stretch. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.